Okay, question number 3. What is it that inspires you? What ideas, think within your life, your career, think within society, lifestyle. What interests you? What do you find yourself drawn to? Some people are very drawn to, going green, recycling. Other people are drawn to political issues, ideas, things like that. Think about what you're drawn to in terms of society, ideas, things like that. This is a good one, especially for women. When do you feel the most empowered? What are you doing when you are feeling on fire? Like you feel like, oh, I really did a good job doing that. Are you in front of a room speaking? Are you doing filing? Things that are, some people those are gifts of some people. Are you sewing? What are you doing when you feel really, really good and people are complimenting you on doing a great job? What is that? Think about what that is and write it down. All right, question number 5. Has anyone seen the movie The Bucket List? Mm-hmm. Yes, okay. I love that movie because it just gets you thinking about life, doesn't it? So what I want you to do is I want you to make your bucket list. And if you haven't seen the movie, what the movie's about are 2 men who are about to pass away. And what they do is they make a list of all the things they want to do before they kick the bucket. So your bucket list is, what do you want to do before you die? What are the things that you said, I'm going to do that someday, or I'm going to take that trip someday, or I'm going to lose those 20 pounds someday? What is your someday bucket list? What is it that, no matter what, if you knew you had 3 months to live, what would you want to get done? And the last question is, what legacy do you want to leave? And what I mean by legacy is, imagine yourself at your funeral, where your children, your family, your friends, they're all there. And what do you want them to remember about you? What accomplishments do you want them to remember? What character traits do you want them to remember? And now what I want you to do is, based on what your legacy, what you want to leave, think about what are you doing right now, today, to become that legacy that you want to be. I want to tell you a story of somebody that I know. His name is Tom, and if you would imagine, a very handsome, physically fit man in his 40s, very well-rounded. He was one of those guys that, he worked out, he had a great, successful job, but he had the most beautiful family, and just a happy, well-rounded, adjusted guy. He ate very well. Well, Tom had a doctor's appointment. He went to his physical, which he hadn't been to in 4 years. His wife finally convinced him to go, and Tom found out he had a lump. And they sent it off to the lab, of course, not thinking, how bad could it be? I'm in great shape, I'm in good health, I'm only 40, 42. And long story short, it did come back as stage 4 cancer, and his prognosis was 6 months to live. Of course, his family was devastated, and Tom went through, and his family went through all the natural grief process. At first, just shocked. How could this be happening? I've done everything right. I work out, I eat right. I don't drink, I don't smoke. How could I have cancer? And then he went through the sadness, the thought of, he had elementary children, elementary school. How am I going to leave my family? How am I going to leave my young kids and my wife? They're depending on me. And then he went through the anger and all the other grief processes that you may be aware of. So Tom decided, though, I have 6 months to live, whether I'm angry and bitter or whether I'm going to live to my life to the fullest. So he made the decision. He's like, I'm going to do whatever I can, whatever I really want to do in life, I'm going to do it. And I'm going to love my children more than I've ever loved them. And I'm going to spend the time with them. And I'm going to play the board game with them that they keep asking me to play. And all the things that us, we may do and say, well, we'll do that later. Or, yeah, we'll go ice skating later. Or, yes, honey, I'll take you on your date later. All the things that were so important, and he did it. And he spent a lot of time with them. And one of the things Tom loved to do was write. So what he decided to do was spend the nights after his kids were put to bed writing. And what he wrote about were stories about his kids, trips that they took, funny stories when they were much, much younger, things that he wanted them to remember that he wasn't going to be able to say. He also wrote down what life might be like once he's gone. And he wrote down advice and tips that he wanted to share with them when the time was right. So the goal was to get it down. Tom did die 6.5 months after the prognosis. And obviously everyone was devastated, his wife, but she told me, and I love this because I don't know that I would feel this way going through the same situation, but at the very end, when he was getting close to the final day, he said to his wife that he was grateful for the prognosis, because without it, he never would have experienced what it really feels like to live. And that hits me, because I think about, why do we need a prognosis of death? Why do we need 6 months to say, you know, I really want to do these things, or I should spend more time with my kids or my family or my husband, my wife? Why do we wait? The fact is, we all have that prognosis. We all are going to die, without a doubt. It could be 60 years from now. It could be 6 days from now. So why wait until somebody says, you know, you have a limited time? Why wait till you're in the hospital to live your life? So I encourage you today to think about that, and think about the things that are important to you. And that's why I have you those questions, because I want you to really think about what's inside of you. Not what you think you should be doing, not what you think your husband wants you to do or your kids want you to do, what your mom, dad, anyone wants you to do. Think about what's important to you, and then live that life. Because life is so short, and it is so precious. And if you've ever had a death in your family, like I personally have, it does wake you up to know life is very, very short. So I encourage you to get started now. The best way to do it is to just take an afternoon away, get away from work, get away from your kids, and just be alone. Alone where there's a special place that you can connect with yourself. For me, it's being outside. If I could go down by the lake in McKinney, or a beach would be ideal, but just somewhere with nature that I can just sit down and really, really think about what I want out of my life, and then just start writing. It's amazing what your inner self will tell you if you just listen. So I leave you with this. I hope that all of you can take this information and start living now while you're still in the living years. Now is your time to live your life.